Alright guys, I will be honest, I never thought I would be saying that again, for real. I have been frankly busy for the last few months, kinda stressed out, and wasn't really in the mood to make any videos either, but then I saw something that called for my attention, and it's the fact that right as I told you all guys about Asphalt Legends Unite, months before it arrived, because Gameloft filed a patent trademark on the European Union, we got something new once again, and I do really think it's worth sharing with you all guys, so with nothing else to add, let's dive straight into it. Okay, so right as I just told you, this time Gameloft submitted a patent request for something called Asphalt Hyperdrive within the European Union. And not gonna lie, this really sounds like something huge is coming at some point on the foreseeable future of the Asphalt franchise, because back when Gameloft submitted the patent application for Asphalt Legends Unite, almost 2 years ago, I legit thought it was a brand new game at the time, and I treated it as such on the video I made back then, but then it turned out to be an actual expansion of the good old Asphalt 9 Legends, where we got to keep the progress we already had, just that on a different version of the game with, significantly better graphics and that stuff. However, this time I am genuinely afraid this Asphalt Hyperdrive patent request is going to be the base for a brand new Asphalt game coming at some point in the future. I mean, I would absolutely love being wrong this time, just to see Asphalt Hyperdrive being a brand new expansion of the current Asphalt Legends into a new version of the game using, for example, Unreal Engine and that stuff. This is even with better graphics, but I have a feeling this time I will not be that lucky. But why am I being that negative in regards to the fact that Asphalt Hyperdrive could be a brand new Asphalt game? Well, let me explain to you guys. There is something we all know in regards to the current Asphalt games we are able to play. That is, that all of the games available are frankly quite pay to win, with huge amounts of monetization tactics taking place in order to grab every possible cent they can from their players. You can have a look at Asphalt 8, most of you guys can certainly appreciate how Gameloft has severely increased the frequency of drive syndicates and other money-grabbing events on Asphalt Legends as well, and I can mostly guarantee you all guys that if a new game ends up arriving, they will not be any more merciful in regards to their massive monetization efforts. Sure thing, you can progress up to a certain point and at a lower rate without spending a single dollar in most of the Asphalt games available nowadays, but most of the time you will have to be extremely skilled to properly compete against players who actively spend their money and thus have simply better cars than you do. What I want to say with all of this is that as someone who has spent a ton of money for the sake of content creation in both Asphalt 8 and Asphalt Legends, and as someone who has seen how the games will end once a new game shows up, you can have a look at Asphalt 8 nowadays in order to understand what I'm talking about, I am more than certain that if another game shows up with the same monetization tactics as Asphalt Legends, I will most likely stop uploading Asphalt content as a whole, because it will be so darn expensive to keep up with the progress on a new game from zero once again, that it will be not worth the effort. That's why I was extremely happy once I found out that Asphalt Legends Unite will be an expansion instead of a brand new game, because that would mean that we could get to keep the cars we paid for, while we could enjoy them with significantly better graphics overall. Truth is, I don't really know what will mean Asphalt Hyperdrive for the entire saga, but I just feel like another expansion into an even better game engine would be way too good to be true, while I am also afraid that Gameloft just wants even more income sources, so maybe developing a brand new game from scratch could even make some sort of sense at this point. I mean, maybe that's the reason why they are racking up the amount of trade syndicates we are having per year on Asphalt Legends, or why are they just trying to grab more and more money from the players they can still catch? I don't really know. All I know is how much I got to enjoy life, exams aside, once I took a far more casual approach to the game, even if that meant to stop making videos about it almost completely. Yeah, I know this video is the exception, but I just want to let you all know that if I ever get to upload content on a consistent basis as I used to do before leaving for the last few months, it will be because GTA 6 is out and I will be mostly focusing into it, or I will try at least. I have been playing Asphalt games for a really long time, but come on guys, these games turn out to be really expensive to keep up with, and I am at a point of my life where I don't think it's any worth to keep spending on a game like this, at least not the amount I used to spend, hence why I don't know if I will even conceive to start from scratch on a brand new Asphalt game after having spent this much money so far. I mean, don't get me wrong, every time I have made a video about anything related to potential new Asphalt games, like updates and whatnot, I have got plenty of comments from people rooting for new games to come up, mostly because, as opposed to me, many people didn't spend or just didn't progress as far as I did on Asphalt Legends. So, if a brand new game shows up, some of these people I have just mentioned genuinely believe it will be great to start from the same point as everyone else, ignoring the fact that, the new game will be expensive as well, and there will be people having advantages from day one precisely because they will be willing to spend money in order to obtain said advantages. But, well, these people truly want a new game, so if they are happy with it, go on, I guess. A new game is also an opportunity to create new content, so yeah, it wouldn't be completely negative to me, but still, and after having spent this much on Asphalt Legends, a game that on its own has been way more expensive through its lifetime than its predecessor, well, it hurts a bit to know that all of this progress will fall on a broken back, something I thought wouldn't happen back when Asphalt Unite was announced. But guys, it is what it is though. I will be making sure to upload any new confirmed information I get in regards to whatever this Asphalt Hyperdrive patent leads to, but as for now, all what it means is that there is something coming in the horizon, a game, an expansion, or maybe a spin-off game. It could be literally anything. But now it's your time, guys. What do you think this Asphalt Hyperdrive thing is going to be? Make sure to let me know in the comment section, drop your massive like, and I will see you really soon, as usual, with much more Asphalt content. That is, well, once I find motivation again. Goodbye, guys.